Good evening, Tom. I have, I guess, a multi-part question. So maybe you could decipher my own statements for me. This is a bit confused. A couple of weeks ago, I asked you a question. You asked me, do you even know that you're aware? And we went through a discussion, and then you gave me some guidance and asked me to report back what happened. So that's one part of it, and a few things happened along the way that I wanted to share. And it I think to some extent crystallized or clarified one of at least my obstacles. And I wanted to seek your advice as to how to deal with it, I guess. So I realized the reason why this, even though the deconstruction happened quite a bit, is simply this obsessive desire to be free ended up creating its own trap. You try to separate yourself to such an extent that you're just creating another entity that is still looking for freedom, and so that ignorance still remains. So I went through a period of simply not trying to achieve anything or check the box and just simply be. And we spoke about at one point also the vertical and horizontal, when you're exactly in the current moment, absolutely in the current moment. There is no person, there is no body, there is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow, there's no mind, because mind is a function of time. So I stayed there for a while. And I guess one constant obstacle is the mind's interpretation of what liberation is. So it's like, can't be this, it has to be this. It has, it's always seems to be looking for a target to go after. And so that leads to a lot of frustration, because it's trying to conceptualize what liberation actually means or what it is. Then I tried that for a few days and I got very frustrated. And it came a point where I actually broke down. And I just cried. I just said, I'm done with this shit. It's too painful. Just help me out here. And I just cried. And this happened to me a few years ago, which gave me the first glimpse, and it happened again. So I just broke down. And suddenly out of nowhere, there was a feeling of brightness. And I can't explain what exactly it is, but when you cry, really cry, you go really into yourself. There's nothing else there. You collapse into a point, and you're crying from that point. And when you really let go, there was just this feeling of all-encompassing brightness, as if somebody came and gave me a hug. It'll all be okay. And for a few seconds, I didn't know what happened. And then again, I started figuring out, okay, what happened and how do I get back to that point? And all that stuff started again. So I guess I'm coming, warmer to the point. And I guess it is simply being, and being, nobody, nothing, something. But conceptualizing it constantly versus letting go completely is a tricky balance, actually. And I just, I think bhakti is definitely the easiest path, but there are times when, stuff happens and you just don't have the same degree of trust. And just want your advice, how to, I need to give my mind some checkmate, some algorithm to just like shut it up for a while and actually surrender. So, and I'm still struggling at times to do that. So I'm not able to extend that period long enough to truly surrender and go within. And after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it starts jumping up and down all over again. So I just wanted to get your advice, there is something here in the current moment where you simply have to be, and things will happen when it's supposed to happen. I guess I'm struggling to find some logical practice to sustain that for an extended period of time. I came up with the logic. I mean, if it helps anybody, it's pretty funny, but see, if there is a God, there is only God. And if there is only God, you're also God. And if there is only God, then why bother and why worry? So that's one logic. If you don't believe in God, then everything is only matter. And we're all just a bunch of chemicals anyway. So anyway, why bother? So, so that was my checkmate, and my mind doesn't have an answer to that. So that shut me up pretty good for a while. But it seems a bit lame, to be honest with you. So I just wanted to throw it out there and seek your advice on this.
Thank you, Arvind. Thank you. So what I think you're saying, Arvind, is your mind is looking for some kind of conceptual way of framing this that it can believe, and therefore stop jumping about all over the place and causing problems for you in your spiritual practice, let's say. The simplest framework to take on is to take on the concepts that have been given to us by who? By Guru Ramana. Take on he has given us concepts for our mind. We should listen to him. What you are is beyond all concepts, but we need to understand the concepts first before we can put them into practice. Someone asked Bhagavan this. It's recorded, I think, in talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. And someone said, what about all these concepts, the teaching? And Bhagavan said, yes, you need to learn it first in your mind. Only then can you put it into practice. Now, the concepts are given in Who Am I? In the very short text, Who Am I? He has explained to us conceptually how this universe, how this world works. And he has explained to us conceptually what liberation is. Very clearly, very simply. I recommend you take this one text, Arvind, and you read it. And you make sure you understand all the concepts in it. Line by line, paragraph by paragraph, you understand it all. If you don't understand any of it, that's wonderful. You can ask me. We'll try and clear it up together. But he explains what liberation is. He explains what you are. He explains what the world is. He explains what ignorance is. And he explains how to remove ignorance and attain liberation. The sooner you take on his concepts, if your mind allows you to, yeah, the sooner your mind takes on his concepts, the easier it is for you to attain liberation. The sooner you are able to accept his verdict, his language, his conceptual framework, the easier it will be for you. The more you try and sort it out yourself and figure it out yourself, the less efficacious your practice will be, the less effective your practice will be. Why is that? It's because you're thinking, and this is not just you, this is all thinking actually, but your thinking is pervaded by ignorance. So when you think you're coming up with something that works for you, you're actually coming up with something that works for the ego. Bhagavan is coming up with a medicine that will destroy the ego. Destroying the ego is liberation.
We've had this dialogue before, so I think I will read up on that. I think we have a one-on-one session scheduled in a few days, so I'll go through it and I think we'll spend some time thinking about this. You're right. I mean, especially when stuff happens in life that it's unpleasant. I just went to a friend's father's memorial. You know, it makes you question faith a lot, and it's and that's when things get shaken up a bit. When everything is good, it's easy, but that's when it's anyway. Thank you, Tom. I will take you up on this. I'll speak on Wednesday in probably more detail. I'm getting closer. Just I need to, whatever. This jumpy mind has been very helpful to me, and it's been very sharp in so many other ways. But when it comes to this, it's about letting go, and it's not something I'm very good at. It's something I need to learn, I guess.
You're getting better and better. You know that.
It's taking damn long. That's the only.
It's not. It's just that, Arvind's mind can be very impatient sometimes. For Arvind, a week or two might feel like a long time. But actually, you're doing very well. In one sense, you are getting closer and closer. Yes, you are. But remember, you are that already.
Yeah, unable to accept it, to be frank with you. Thank you.
Unable to accept it, the mind. So when we hear, it's like sometimes, maybe one of your parents or both your parents, I'm speaking to everybody. Maybe you were lucky enough to have one of your parents or both your parents say to you that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You look beautiful. You're a beautiful child. You're a beautiful person. But maybe if your parents said that to you, maybe you couldn't accept it, especially if you're a teenager or something. They say that to you. Yeah, what do you know, mom? What do you know, dad? You're just saying that. Imagine back to when you were a teenager. Maybe if you're lucky, one or both of your parents said to you, you know what, you're a lovely boy, you're a lovely girl, you're a beautiful boy, you're a beautiful girl. And you thought, I don't know if that's true. But now when you look back at the photos of you, the teenager, you can see the beauty in that child. It's a bit like that. Bhagavan's telling us we are beautiful, we are the supreme. Can we believe him? He's saying, you are Bhagavan. That's what you are. You are Bhagavan. You are Ramana. Arvind, you are Bhagavan. You are Ramana. That is what you are. But can you believe it? So trust him and work on the mind. Let go of these concepts that you cling to about yourself. What is ignorance? All we have to do is remove ignorance. That's what all the teachings are for, only to remove ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance is the belief, I am a person, I am a body, mind, I'm an individual, I am this name, this form.
Thank you.
Reading statements in words, conceptual statements about what you truly are, that can also be helpful. Even though those conceptual statements are not what you are, they can indicate what you are in a way. When you read that you are the formless, you are the absolute, you are the unchanging, your nature is bliss, your nature is eternal, timeless. See if you can somehow intuit these as being true about yourself.